Hi, I'm Cody Anderson, one of the pastors at Parker United Methodist Church. This Lent season, we're going through a sermon series about questions. Questions that we have for God, questions that maybe we hear over and over and over, questions that we have ourselves. It's important for us to ask our questions, to wrestle with the things that we don't understand or know, to be able to talk about it with others, because what we find is that we're not the only one with questions. This last Sunday, we asked the question, why go to church? Which I think is a fascinating question to ask when you are at church. Why go to church? Well, Pastor Laura did a wonderful job on this question, and I would encourage you to go to our YouTube channel and to watch her sermon. It was a great example of why we go to church and a great visual for how the church should be. This is a question that I get asked over and over and over. Many times this question comes in the form of a confession. I haven't gone to church for a long time because it's just so beautiful outside and I feel God more in nature. Or I haven't been to church for a while because my kids are involved in basketball or soccer or baseball or volleyball, or fill in the blank with all of the busyness of kids' schedules. Or I didn't go to church because I'm tired. Sunday is my only day to sleep in and I just couldn't get out of bed and make it. And those confessions are often an ask, an unvoiced ask for me to explain why it's important to go to church. It's a question that I've struggled with. Why do we go to church? Why is it important? If I didn't work in a church, would I go to church on Sunday mornings, or would I find something else to occupy that time? The beautiful thing about church is community, is that we are gathered together and we're reminded that we don't do life alone. There is this TV show that came out years ago. It started off, I think, on Discovery and now is on Netflix, but it is called Alone. It's a reality TV show where there are 10 people who are survivalists, and they sign up to do life alone, like completely off the grid with only a few supplies. And then they have to figure out how they're going to survive on their own. So you have these 10 individuals who are very self-reliant, who are able to start fires and who are able to catch animals or kill animals for food, or they're able to build a shelter that will last them a while. And these 10 individuals are put in an area all by themselves. And the challenge for them is to be the last one out there, the person who can survive on their own alone the longest. Now, of course, they're like every good reality TV show, there's always this wonderful prize at the end, money that will help their families or help them be able to get on their feet or start the new business that they wanted to or live the life that they have hoped. So there's always that carrot that's dangling out there. But for each of these people, there's also this deep need and desire to prove to themselves that they can truly survive alone, that they don't need anybody else to help them, that they can be self-reliant, that they can do it all by themselves. Now, the first few days, it's exciting, right? There's lots of activity. There's lots of things for them to do, like gather the wood to build the shelter. And what kind of shelter are they going to build? And where are they going to put their fire? And are they going to have an ability to keep their shelter warm? And where's their water source? Do they have enough food? But after a few days of being alone, only a camera that they have to be able to do these daily reflections and journalings, they begin to feel the weight of being alone. They begin to feel the isolation of not seeing another person, of not being able to talk to somebody else. And as the weeks go by, even though they have these amazing highs where, they've killed this animal that will help them survive longer, or they've been able to last through the really bad blizzard that happened, or whatever that might look like, they find that what they really miss is sharing that moment with others. That they miss their family back home, their friends who know them, who would support them and care for them, who would celebrate with them, who would also carry the hard things with them. And the one reason that most of these people end up quitting, end up pushing that button for somebody to come and to rescue them, is because they miss their family. They're tired of being alone. They recognize that while that money might be great, they're missing out on something that is so much more beautiful, and that is their community, their friends and their families who are there with them in the middle of life. Community is a gift. I don't think it's a gift that we all have to find by going out alone for months. I think it's a gift that we can really search out and understand right now. Over the last few months, I have noticed this deep desire for people to be in community. Actually, the first time I noticed it was last summer when I was with the mission trip group, the youth mission trip. And we were out in Bozeman, Montana, doing a lot of different things together. And that evening we were reflecting, and one of our youth shared that she loves to come to youth group because it's the only place that she can be herself. That she knows that people love her exactly how she is, and that no one is trying to make her into somebody that she's not. And I started to notice that a lot of our youth feel that same way. That gift of community that supports them. And so why do they go to youth group? Not only because it's fun, but because they connect with others who see them and know them, and they don't have to put up a front. They can just be themselves. I've seen that same thing as we've gathered around tables at Faith on Tap that meets at a local brewery, and we share together our stories. We talk about faith. We talk about our questions. And at the end of that time together, I always ask people to share what their prayer concerns are. What are the things that are heavy? What are the struggles that people are carrying? A lot of times it's prayers about, my sister who is going through chemo, or my friends who just lost a dog, or my spouse whose job is really, really hard right now, and they're carrying a lot. Each of us coming together and sharing our prayer concerns and knowing that we're not alone. I've also seen this in our Spark service. This last Sunday, we actually did just that. We got together in groups, and I asked a few questions, and one of those questions was, what is the prayer that you have right now? What are you praying for? People shared, they're praying for the world. They're praying for the uncertainty that they feel. They're praying for their kids. They're praying just for peace. But what I notice whenever we do this type of activity, in whatever setting that we're in, that there's something that is hopeful and also gives us a sense of security when we understand that we are in community with each other in a way where we belong to one another, where we understand that we're not in this world alone, that somebody else cares and is there to hear our stories, and that we're seen in whatever we're going through, and that those people will walk with us and be with us. There's this scripture that always comes to mind. I hear it, a lot of people quote it, from Matthew 18, where Jesus says, "Where two or more are gathered, there I am also." And as I've been thinking about that scripture, where two or more are gathered, I can't help but think about what it means to look into the eyes of somebody else in person, right? Because we did the whole COVID not in person thing, and we were able to survive that. We knew that that was what was best for the health and safety of those who we care about and love. But there was something that we were missing, and that was the face-to-face. There's something about that face-to-face, and as I keep thinking about it, I keep remembering that we're all made in the image of God, right? We are all bearers of God's image. So whenever we're gathering with somebody else, yes, of course, God is there with us in that image of that person, in the image of who they are, of what they're going through, of the questions they have, of the struggles that they carry. And when two or more are gathered, we're able to experience God's love and grace in new ways than we could do on our own. It's that space where we can support one another, where we can truly see each other, where we can help uplift one another and carry each other's burdens. And isn't it so great that we're not asked to do life alone? How overwhelming it would be to face every day on our own. I just think that it's such a gift that God knew we needed to be made in God's image and to need community. Community that will love us, will support us, will encourage us, will uplift us. That really is the gift of church. This community that is messy, sometimes makes mistakes, but also is there to help, love, and support one another. So my friends, I hope that you find that community. Whether it's at Parker United Methodist Church, or whether it is around tables at a local brewery, or whether it's on the field as you are there supporting your kids, but you're in a conversation with somebody else and you experience the divine joining you in that conversation. May you remember that God is with us always. And like that beautiful song that says, "We are not alone, God is with us," may we hold on to that hope and that promise that not only is God with us, but that God has provided us a community who loves us and sees us and walks with us. May you find that community and be that community to others.